Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. The topic of this 10-minute moan is the rather barbaric DEI, or as they term it, equality, diversity and inclusion policies by the Glasgow City College, the City of Glasgow College as it's referred to. But they're telling students that not only must they learn the DEI responsibilities within the campus, that if they fail a test on these subjects, then they will not be able to pass any of their actual exams for the things that they're there to study. And as you can see here on their own documentation, it tells you that these are essential modules, not optional, essential. And the student who approached me with their concerns tells me that the college tutors and lecturers are having to tell children and young adults that if you do not pass these, then you cannot actually pass your course. Now that in itself may not be a problem, but I will be looking into some of the questions and some of the answers you must give to pass these essential equality, diversity and inclusion modules. They're absolutely bonkers. What we are saying bears no resemblance to fairness, common sense, nor logic. And this is what's getting ingrained into our youth. Now, the person who approached me with their concerns will remain nameless, but they explained to me that some of the tutors and the lecturers are of the same mind as them, where they feel that this is a step too far. And what can be quite odd, the questions and the answers that you must give. So I'm just going to go through some of, but not all of the questions. So this first one, work through this scenario. Tarek can't find the book he is looking for in the library. He goes to the library information desk where Amy is helping another student. He tries to talk to her, but she asks him to wait. When Amy turns to him, Tariq tells her to find the book for him. Amy has to stay at the desk, so tells him where he can find it. However, Tariq tells her again to go to get the book for him. Then you have multiple choice. You can either say Tariq acted inappropriately, Tariq acted inappropriately but might not have meant to, or Tariq's behaviour was fine. And when this student ticked the box that Tariq's behaviour was inappropriate and he acted inappropriately, they were told that they were wrong. And the only acceptable answer is Tariq acted improperly but might not have meant to. Now I find this odd, because if the roles were reversed and someone said something that was inappropriate to Tariq, would we be told and excuse that because they may not mean to? When further on in these modules, we're told about unconscious bias and how that is not acceptable. So when you are normal, mainstream, whatever you want to term it, normal's probably the wrong word, but a white British student, and you do something that opposes common courtesy, then there's no such allowance made. But if you are Tariq, we must make allowances for your behaviour. And then you see the feedback. Based on your answer, that's not right. Tariq acted badly and it was not fair on Amy. However, in some cultures, it's not common for people to say please and thank you. So people might seem rude when they don't mean to be. Also consider that Tariq might not have understood Amy. So we must take into consideration that Tariq might not have meant to have been acting inappropriately. Although they're stating he did act inappropriately, but it's all right because he maybe didn't mean it. Try that if the shoe is on the other foot, because we're told that we must make allowances all the time for other people. And as I say, this module that I've been sent does cover unconscious bias. An unconscious bias, when your unconscious bias is against any minority or any perceived minority, then that's not a good thing. Surely, in this example, Tariq has an unconscious bias where he believes he doesn't have to say please and thank you. He happens to believe that Amy should actually go and get the book for him because for some reason he's not wanting to do that. But when it's flipped, unconscious bias is a terrible, terrible thing. And it's complete bonkers. And when I look through the paperwork policies on their website, it's absolutely frightening. And yeah, of course, they have got the standard Stonewall diversity champion of Scotland recognition as a group. But I don't know if I take faith out the feedback that I got from this student, where they were saying, a lot of the tutors and things are against this, but don't want to say anything. I don't know if that makes me happy or sad, because it's then left to other people in society, like myself, to put their heads above the parapet and take any shots aimed at us for calling out things that the very people at the heart of this establishment, the adults, the tutors, the leaders in these organisations, know fine well are total bollocks. So where do we go? How do we fix this? We need people within organisations, like the ex-Marine had on, John Carr, last week, to stand up and take one in the chin for what is wrong and what is right. But I just cannot believe, there's loads of different examples that I could give you, but that one where, yeah, Tariq was wrong, but we kind of need to accept it anyway because he maybe didn't know he was wrong. We will never get the things that are important to British culture, standards, discipline, respect, these things accepted by those who are not of these shores if we accept that they don't need to understand our concept of standards and decency and just common good manners. If I was in a situation where a white youth was to show so much disrespect to a female, I couldn't keep my mouth shut. And I believe by telling somebody, look, that's not how we treat females around here, I believe that's the right stance. But what these people are doing, these bodies, they're excusing bad manners and standards when it's one direction, not the other. And this college, it's been about, I think, for as long as I can remember. It's just on the banks of the Clyde, just south of the city centre. In fact, it's very recognisable because at the riverside, there's two quite large lifeboats, because the college started off as a nautical college, and it still obviously provides nautical courses, but it does a lot of other things now, like hospitality, hairdressing, beauty, TV production, business. You can even study law at the City of Glasgow College now. It's got a fantastic range of courses. But what we're going to force people to do is to accept that when people from outside our communities don't accept our common sense standards, that we have to make allowances. And if you don't agree with all this, because you don't tick the right boxes when you do this online module, you will fail your course because they simply cannot pass you unless you pass the DAI and tell us that things are all right as long as folk maybe didn't mean it. And that is one of the most un-British things I've ever heard in my life. So if you want others to see this video, click the thumbs up, put your comments below and hit the share button. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit for the notification. But more important than all that, unless you're the type of person who doesn't want to integrate when you come to our country as a student, or that you're the type of person that actually recommends that we should allow non-British behaviour in our colleges, then no.